10 movie trilogies that went unfinished. There's nothing more unsatisfying for movie fans than for a story to go without a proper ending. On rare occasions, a planned trilogy doesn't pan out and concludes without a satisfying finale, even in popular franchises. This can happen for any number of reasons, from creative differences to underperformance at the box office. Some unfinished trilogies in Hollywood hurt fans more than others. From Andrew Garfield's infamous Amazing Spider-Man franchise to Ridley Scott's planned Alien prequel trilogy, these franchises never gave fans the proper finale they were hoping for and probably never will. In 2012, Ridley Scott made his long-awaited return to the Alien franchise, over 30 years after directing the first film. Prometheus acted as a secret prequel to the original Alien, giving audiences new information about the creation of the xenomorphs and setting up certain plot points that would persist in the earlier films. Alien: Covenant followed the events of Prometheus, meant to kickstart a new era for the franchise. Initially, Ridley Scott was incredibly optimistic about the future of his Alien prequels. He intended to make a new trilogy that would lead directly into the events of the 1979 film. Allegedly, the script for the next installment was completed, even though the project never saw the light of day. Scott's Alien prequels appear to have been put on hold following Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, with the franchise now focusing on new stories like Alien Romulus and the upcoming series Alien Earth. In 2012, Sony rebooted the Spider-Man franchise, with a new actor taking over the role after Tobey Maguire's trilogy. The Amazing Spider-Man debuted Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in a new take on the superhero's origin story. The film did well enough to warrant a sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which saw the eponymous superhero battle multiple supervillains, including Electro and the Green Goblin. Sony had big plans for the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, with at least one additional sequel in development. There were even plans to develop an entire cinematic universe around Spider-Man and his supporting characters. However, the poor reception of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 caused Sony to falter in these plans, and the character was eventually rebooted with Tom Holland in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even so, remnants of The Amazing Spider-Man remain, with Andrew Garfield appearing in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Sony has even continued its planned cinematic universe of Spider-Man characters, though it is no longer connected to the Amazing Spider-Man universe. Zack Snyder was the most prominent creative voice in the development of the DC Extended Universe, making him the de facto choice to direct the franchise's first major team-up crossover, Justice League. Snyder developed the first Justice League film as the setup for a much larger storyline that would potentially include 2 sequels. Tragically, Zack Snyder was forced to leave Justice League after the death of his daughter. Rather than delay the project, Warner Bros. Elected to replace Snyder with Avengers director Joss Whedon. The reaction to Whedon's Justice League threw the entire DCU into disarray, casting doubt on any of Snyder's original plans. While fans eventually got to see what Snyder's version of Justice League would have been, DC has since moved on and plans to start a new cinematic universe in 2025 with James Gunn at the helm. However, Zack Snyder may still finish his Justice League trilogy if fans get their way. In the world of film franchises, trilogies have a certain magic. They provide a structured narrative arc with a beginning, middle, and conclusion that allows characters to grow, plots to evolve, and themes to be explored. However, not all trilogies see the light of completion. Some are abandoned due to financial issues, poor reception, or creative differences. Here's a look at 10 movie trilogies that were planned but never finished. 1. The Amazing Spider-Man trilogy. When Sony rebooted Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield in 2012, it was clear that they had a trilogy in mind. The Amazing Spider-Man 2012 was a box office success, and its sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 2014, set up numerous plot lines for future films. However, due to poor critical reception and underwhelming box office performance, plans for The Amazing Spider-Man 3 were scrapped. Instead, Spider-Man was integrated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, leading to Tom Holland taking over the role. Fans of Garfield's Spider-Man were left without the conclusion they hoped for, including unresolved storylines like the mystery of Peter Parker's parents and the future of the Sinister Six 2. Percy Jackson Trilogy. The Percy Jackson books by Rick Riordan were a beloved series about a demigod and his friends navigating Greek mythology in the modern world. The first film, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief 2010, was expected to kick off a trilogy, followed by Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters 2013. However, the films were poorly received by fans and critics, with complaints about changes from the source material and aging actors. Plans for the third installment, The Titan's Curse, were eventually shelved, leaving the cinematic world of Percy Jackson unfinished. 3. Eragon Trilogy. Based on the best-selling Inheritance Cycle books by Christopher Paolini, Eragon 2006 was expected to be the start of an epic fantasy trilogy. The film, which follows a farm boy who discovers he's destined to become a dragon rider, was met with significant disappointment from fans and critics alike. Poor box office results led to the cancellation of any future installments. Fans of the book series were left without an adaptation of the other novels, Eldest and Brissinger, and Eragon's journey remained incomplete on screen. 4. Tron Legacy Trilogy. After Tron Legacy 2010 was released, there were plans for a third movie to continue the story of Sam Flynn, his father Kevin, and the digital world of the grid. While Tron Legacy wasn't a massive box office hit, it garnered a cult following, and discussions about a third film persisted for years. However, Disney eventually pulled the plug on the project, reportedly focusing more on other franchises like Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Fans of Tron were left wondering what could have been, as the narrative threads left hanging in Legacy remain unresolved. 5. Green Lantern Trilogy. Warner Bros. had high hopes for a Green Lantern trilogy when they cast Ryan Reynolds in the lead role. The 2011 film was meant to introduce audiences to the cosmic side of the DC universe and lead to sequels that would delve deeper into the Green Lantern core. However, the film was critically panned and failed to perform well at the box office. Plans for a trilogy were scrapped, and DC pivoted to other projects, with Reynolds eventually becoming more widely known for his role as Deadpool. The potential of the Green Lantern universe in film remains largely untapped. 6. John Carter Trilogy. John Carter 2012, based on Edgar Rice Burroughs' Barsoom series, was envisioned as the first of a trilogy exploring the adventures of John Carter on Mars. Despite a huge budget and grand ambitions, the film was a box office bomb, and Disney swiftly canceled plans for the sequels. The rich world of Barsoom and its characters were left unexplored, and fans of the books were left wondering what a complete John Carter trilogy might have looked like. 7. I Am Number 4 Trilogy. I Am Number 4 2011, based on the young adult novel by Pittacus Lore, was planned as the first in a trilogy about alien teenagers hiding on Earth while being hunted by an enemy race. While the film did moderately well, it didn't generate enough box office revenue to justify a sequel. The source material continued, but the film adaptations never moved beyond the first entry, leaving fans of the book series without a cinematic conclusion. 8. The Divergent series, based on Veronica Roth's popular dystopian book series, Divergent 2014, was a box office success, leading to two sequels, Insurgent 2015 and Allegiant 2016. However, Allegiant underperformed, and instead of producing the final film, Ascendant, as planned, the studio attempted to rework it into a TV movie, which never materialized. The unfinished trilogy left fans without a proper ending to the story of Triss and her rebellion against a dystopian society. 9. The Golden Compass Trilogy. The Golden Compass, 2007, based on Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy, was intended to be the first in a trilogy. Despite a strong cast and visual effects,